Hello, students of the Love School. Welcome to today's show. And today, Cristiane, we are going to learn from the mistakes of a couple, Andrew and Tammy. Because one of the best ways for you to avoid making mistakes in life is to learn from other people's mistakes.
And especially you were going through problems in your love life that seem to be, endless. That you think, there's nothing I can do about this because the love is gone, or the husband doesn't change, or you are different, you're too different. Well, there is a chance for you, there's hope for you, and we will use the story of this couple to help you.
See what you can learn from their story. Most mistakes and successes in relationships are transferable, so you need to learn from other people's mistakes. All right, so let's watch their story. We're going to pause midway for us to make a point, to stress a point that is very important from their story. Let's start watching Andrew's and Tammy's story.
My name is Tammy Adams.
My name is Andrew Adams.
I had a problem with, he also had a problem with commitment.
That we was just basically just friends with benefits, that's what you can call it.
When he saw me, he was just coming out of prison. I was aware of his background. I was aware of who he was because we've lived in the same community for many years and I'd known him already.
I wasn't really concentrating on the relationship. I was just really basically, as you could say, I was just in it to win it. I didn't know what a relationship was, because I still had the young mentality in me.
In the beginning of the relationship, I was always the type that would be like insecure. I was always wondering where he was, because he was like a type of flirtatious. With that, it was back and forth in the relationship. I would be angry at times because of myself being lonely or insecure. And I also had 2 other children from a previous relationship before him.
Okay, so here we see already that the mistake of Tammy starting that relationship with Andrew when he wasn't ready, he was just playing, he was just not in it for any kind of commitment, caused the problem of her insecurity and anger and loneliness even inside a relationship. That's what many people don't understand, Cristiane. They start a relationship. They are ready to start a relationship and to commit. But they start this relationship with someone who is not ready for the same commitment.
The key here is that she was not ready for a new commitment. In fact,
he was not.
She wasn't either, because she wasn't looking at his condition. When you are entering a relationship with a bad boy, for instance, he's a bad boy. He flirts with everybody. You know that he doesn't want to get married with anybody. He just wants to fool around. When you enter a relationship with someone like that, it shows that you are not ready for a relationship either.
But you know why women do that? They do that because they hope they have this, I don't know if it's a superwoman or Wonder Woman complex. That they are going to change that bad boy and make him into a good boy. They think, well, out of my love, because of my love for him, he will change for me. That's the problem.
Also, Renato, sometimes is the background of that person, the woman, Tammy's background. So she's been through a lot. And, you can't just enter a relationship and leave. You can't just go in and out. You can't go in, out, have a child, have another child, another one. You can't do that, because that's making you lose faith in yourself, makes you lose also even self-value. You start wondering if you have any value at all, because you go through so many relationships and none of them work. So you end up thinking, whatever comes my way, I should just accept it. So that in itself is not good for you, because you tend to attract whatever comes your way. And that person who's coming knows, oh, look at this girl. She doesn't have any criteria. She just wants a companion.
She knew who I was.
I will be with her and I'll cheat, but she won't leave me because she just needs a companion. Anyway.
Yeah, you know what they say, that you shouldn't go into a supermarket when you're hungry, because you're bound to buy junk food, right?
And more than you should.
and maybe eat it there and then, right? I've seen people eat in the supermarket before they pass through the cashier. So that's the same as going to a relationship when you are needy, when you have no criteria, when you are hungry for love, hungry for companionship. You tend to attract junk relationships, junk boyfriend, junk girlfriend, because of your hunger, because you are needy. So first you need to deal with your hunger for love, your condition for attention, by dealing with this yourself, curing yourself of this need, without trying to bring someone else into your life to heal it, because another person will not heal your need for love. You need to be comfortable and happy alone first before you go into a relationship.
And then you can choose right.
Yes.
Because when you're happy, when you're strong, when you are secure of yourself, then you know that is not good for me. I'm not going to enter into a relationship like that. When you're not, you just don't have any criteria, and that's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, one mistake that people make, Cristiane, is to say, I want to be happy. I have the right to be happy. I want to marry, I want to have a relationship because I want to be happy. In other words, think about this. If you say you want a relationship, you want to get married, start a family because you want to be happy, that means you're not happy right now. And if you're not happy right now, you will make that person unhappy, miserable. And this person will in turn make you miserable. So don't go into a relationship to be happy, to feel happy. You need to be happy before, alone, by yourself, so that when you get a relationship, you choose someone who will add to your life, but not be responsible for your happiness. Okay? That's very, very important, because a lot of people make this mistake today.
And can I give an example here of a dog? This is our dog. This is 7, and he's 8 years old. He's not 7 yet anymore. He's 8 years old, and he's a very happy dog. And because he's very happy, he makes us happy too, right? We want to be with him. We want to cuddle him because he's very happy. He makes us feel happy too. But imagine if he was a sad little animal, always crying, how could he add anything to our lives? That's what happens when you are not okay, when you have problems within yourself. The relationship is not going to help you. It's going to make it worse. Like she said, she felt more insecure after she started a relationship with him. So you have to take care of yourself first. Be happy first.
He was there with me, helping me with my other 2. And when he wasn't, it made things worse.
She would go out with her friends, and some of her friends I really didn't approve of, but they was all my friends too, because we all grew up together, and so I kind of knew them, so I was thinking, if they're like that, my wife is like that. And it always run in my head of that whenever she's gone, whenever she's missing.
I remember a time where my boyfriend at the time was cheating on me. And I went out to the club, or whatever it was at the time, and someone called him and told him, because we're in the community where everybody knows everybody. Someone called him and told him I was there. So he left behind this new girlfriend and came there where I was. And I pushed him away. And when I did that, he just was very upset with me, angry. And I guess he went to call the girlfriend, and that really crushed it really ruined the relationship. When I found out about the seminar, I was in the train station and I saw an ad in the paper about the seminar, the love therapy seminar. So that's when I brought it home and I showed it to my boyfriend, because I was wanting us to change. I wanted him to change as well, because I had already decided, but he didn't. So once I gave it to him, he started to like reject me. We were arguing a lot. It was like getting worse. So I really wanted to give up on the relationship because we were back and forth. It was a lot going on. And I told him that if he doesn't, want to work on this relationship, go to the seminar with me, or, decide, make a decision, that I would be leaving. And it would be over completely. I'll go my way, he can go his. And this is what I told him.
When she put this challenge on me, and I had thought about it, and like she said at the time, we had a daughter. The biggest fear to me was my little daughter calling somebody else daddy. I didn't want her calling nobody else daddy but me.
I decided we both need to change. If I don't change, then he's not going to change.
One important point that I see here, Cristiane, is that Tammy knew before Andrew, she realized before Andrew, that they needed help if they are going to make this relationship work. They needed outside help. They needed to get someone to help them see what they weren't seeing, or get them to change in ways that they were not able to change, even though they knew they had problems. And this is very important because most couples, like we were like that as well, for 12 years in our marriage, we struggled and we had a recurring problem in our marriage because we wouldn't see eye to eye on a number of issues. And this problem dragged itself for 12 years in our marriage. One of the reasons was because we kept it to ourselves. We didn't go to look for a solution. We just thought, well, this is our problem, we have to solve it. And it was, we had to solve it. But when the problem is crushing your marriage, when your relationship problem is destroying what you have, and you honestly, you look at the situation and you don't see a way out. You don't know what to do. Everything you know, you've tried and failed. So if you want to save this relationship, you need to be humble enough to say, I need help. I need someone who has overcome this before, who knows how to sort this out, to give me a light, to point me in the right direction. That's what Tammy knew instinctively when she picked up that flyer for the Therapy of Love seminar, and she took it to Andrew and she made a challenge. And people need to realize that sometimes they need outside help.
Yeah, even when the other partner doesn't want help. Because, sometimes they make this mistake of thinking we need help, but we both need to work at it together. Sometimes the other one doesn't want to work together. And I liked what she said when Tammy said, I'm going to go for help. And if you don't want, then you can go your way. Because, she didn't go, you have to go with me to get help. If you don't go, then I won't go. She didn't do that. She went, I'm going to go for help. And you need it too. So if you want to be with me, you go there. If not, then you go away, but I'm going to still get help. Which she did. She did get help. She went for it. She was ready to lose him, but she wasn't ready to stop getting the help. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to make the decision, especially you woman, because I see that there's a pattern here. Usually the woman goes for help, not the man. And maybe because men think that if they go for help, it's like they're losing their masculinity or something. I don't know what it is. But sometimes, the woman needs to go for the help. She needs to take the initiative.
Men resist going for help, especially for a relationship, because he thinks that he would be less of a man by going somewhere and learning what he has to do or what he's not doing right. Also because most of these seminars, most of these marriage seminars and coaching, they usually bang the man on the head with a brick and say, this is what's wrong with you, and men don't want to go there and hear what's wrong with them, right? So that's one of the reasons as well. But the love therapy seminar is different because it's even-sided. It's not, aiming
usually
to
there's a woman there to talk to the women.
Yeah,
right?
and so it's very important. The point still is that when you are suffering more than you should in your relationship, and I say more than you should because everybody has problems in relationships, but if you're suffering more than you should, it's because you don't know something that you should know. You're not doing something that you should be doing, because relationships are not meant to be hell, all right? They are meant to improve your life. All those jokes that people make about marriage and marriage being, this burden, etc., etc., a prison, this is from people who did it wrong and are bitter and badmouth the institution of marriage when they don't want to badmouth themselves because they were the ones who made the mistakes or chose somebody who put them through hell. But marriage is not the culprit here. So anyway, let's continue watching and see how they sorted that out. How through the help that they received at the love therapy seminars, what they learned, how they applied it to their lives and managed to overcome their problems.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna make the first move. And that's what I did. I was always lashing out at him. Always like, and it didn't make nothing better. It didn't make the situation get better. After a while, he wasn't right away, but I kept that in me that he's going to, because at least he was listening. At least he made the first move to go with me.
At first, I looked at it, okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna see what this is about. I'm not really into it. But then when I went, I heard some words that related to our relationship. And so with those words, I took them and I listened to them, and it made me a better man.
He started to volunteer, started going with me. He changed with his attitude. The people that he used to be around, he left them behind, and I saw that.
We start communicating together. We start making decisions together. And also, I got up, I was basically on the couch just all the time. Never wanted to do nothing. It's like she gave me my nudge. She gave me my push. And with that, I want to thank her for that, because I took that and never looked back. So, like, she's my rib. She's my rock. I want to say that. I just love her. I love her.
We just decided to do things together. We started going places when we weren't going before. We were just stuck in the house all the time. We didn't believe that we can do anything together, but because we didn't know how to show and express our love for each other. We didn't know how. So when we learned going to the seminar, we would hear things like we're both not supposed to be the same. So we knew that each one of us was different, and we had to look at, the difference between him and me.
I want to say, like she said, never give up on your spouse. Always fight for your spouse. Together, work it out, and find a love therapy, because it really do help. I want to say that. Look what it did for us.
So what is the love therapy that helped Tammy and Andrew save their family, save their relationship? Notice that they said that they loved each other, but they didn't know how to express love. They were very different from each other, and they didn't know what to do about those differences. He didn't realize the mistakes he was making in the marriage, sitting in the couch all day. In other words, when they both came, even though Andrew started coming initially against his will, they heard the word. They heard the word of God, the word of advice, the word of direction that opened up their minds. Because a lot of relationships, Cristiane, are suffering because of closed minds. People have their minds closed by their own experiences, by their own upbringing, by principles they learned in high school, peer groups, picked up on TV series and movies, etc., and romance. Their mind is closed or contaminated, I would say, by all kinds of wrong ideas and principles about relationships. And then they bring all that garbage into their relationship. Then they wonder why it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you are applying what doesn't work in the relationship. You need to unlearn these things and learn what does work. And this is what the love therapy does for people.
And you know the nice thing about the love therapy is that you don't pay for it. Because, sometimes people think they don't have the money to go for help. I can't pay a therapist, I can't pay a therapy, I can't pay a psychologist, I can't. Yeah, but the love therapy, you don't pay for anything. It's free. And you know why it's free? Because we've received it free. Those who do the love therapy, they have had an experience with the Word of God. The Word of God came alive in their lives. So what you're going to get there is not wisdom of man. It's not some wisdom that you get from books. It's wisdom from above. And when God, Renato, when God can come and when God speaks to anybody, that's when you open your mind. That's when you lose this old, full of garbage mentality that the world has given you. And you have a clean mind to know what to do with your problems. The world is not living your problems. You are. So you need to know how to deal with them. You are the one who is going to get the consequences of your decisions. So you have to make the right decisions for you. And the Word of God does that, gives us that.
Yes. So when you open your mind to a new idea, just one new way of thinking, one new way of thinking can transform your life and your marriage. We talk about this in our book, The Bulletproof Marriage, how one word from Cristiane's father, one word, the night that she called him, when she told
Called
me...
him for help.
Yeah, she said, I want a divorce. At 12 years of marriage, with problems, recurring, never being resolved between us, she had it and she said to me that night, I want a divorce. And then she called her father to talk about the problem. And then she passed the phone on to me, and her father said one word. And if you want to know what the word was, you got to read the book, Bulletproof Marriage. But one word that he said opened my mind. And that was the change, the turning point in our marriage. So one word that you hear, one new idea, one new thinking can totally transform your marriage and your life. And that's what the Love Therapy Seminar is all about. Like Chris said, we're not here selling you another seminar. It's free. All you got to do is call the number that you see on your screen and find out where is the nearest location for the Love Therapy. We have several locations in the US, and you can, in the US and in the UK, also our show is showing in both countries, you can attend this seminar. It's once a week, and if you commit to going and learning and applying it to your life, it's absolutely guaranteed that you're going to see a change in your relationship. Before you give up, before you say, I've had it, I'm going to divorce, before you go through all that process of divorcing and then being alone and then hating men, hating women, and telling everybody, never again I'm going to get married, until you miss being with someone again, and then you start another relationship and make the mistake again because you never learned from the first one. The only thing you learn when you get a divorce is getting out, right? It's the only thing you learn is getting out of the problem. You never learn how to solve the problem. So if you want to save your relationship, before you make the decision, before you call the lawyers, attend the love therapy seminar. It's once a week. It's a meeting of about an hour and a half. You go there, couples who are mature enough, who have been through problems like similar to yours, are going to point you in the right direction. And all based on the Word of God. And what have you got to lose? You've only got one thing to lose: the problems that you have in your marriage. You know more about it right now, and we'll come back to answer a question here in the Love School.
Have you ever heard that most of our interpersonal communication is nonverbal? So if you say that you can't wait to see someone, while your body language communicates that you really wish you had an excuse not to, without realizing it, your body is speaking much louder than your words. Have you ever been upset with someone you love, not because of what they said, but because of how they said it? Just like body language, our tone of voice can communicate volumes and cause a great deal of misunderstanding in a relationship. Healthy communication skills are the foundation of any relationship, and especially in marriage. But research has documented how differently men and women communicate and interpret information. Do you know how your spouse sees you? Are you sure you know how to communicate with them? Are you saying the right words but sending all the wrong messages with your body language and tones of voice? Come to our Therapy of Love meeting tomorrow, Thursday night at 7 p.m. for practical teaching on healthy communication in marriage. The Therapy of Love is a meeting for both married and single people who want to get smart about love and allow God to heal and rebuild their love lives. To learn with David and Evelyn Higginbotham in person, come to the Houston Universal Church at 7075 Southwest Freeway between Bel Air and Hillcroft every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Also at every Universal Church location.
We're going to answer a question from a single woman right now. You who are single and struggling to find someone, pay attention to her question.
Hi, I've been waiting on God for several years now, allowing myself to be open, but haven't had much success. The guys that approach me have different views than me, mainly when it comes to sharing the same faith, and faith is very important to me. I don't feel comfortable approaching men, but no one so far has approached me, that is, who shares the same faith. In your experience, what would you suggest I do? My friends tell me I should try online dating, and I'm considering it, but before I do, I would like to know your thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, so what should you do? You want to date a man of your own faith, but you haven't been getting much luck in that. So let's give her some pointers, Cristiane. First of all, she asks about online dating. It's not that it couldn't work. Many people have found their partner through online dating, but the odds are smaller and the risks are much higher of you missing and finding totally opposite of what you want.
Yeah, and so how you can meet new people? That's the question you have to make. New people that have your faith. You have your friends who know friends, who have contacts, who know other people who have the faith, who can even advise you if that person has a good reputation or not. You have places you could go, like for instance, you are of a certain church, and that church is, in your church, you don't know anybody, there's nobody for you there. But of course, there's another church, like maybe in the next town, there's somebody there. So sometimes, have the faith, have the initiative to go out a little bit of the same thing that you always do, that bubble, housework, church, housework, church. Go out a little bit, join a group, a church group, go to visit the other church of your faith, of course, and meet people. Because usually, Renato, people who are struggling in their single life for many years is because they just follow the same routine every day.
Yes.
And that makes it hard for them to meet new people.
Yes, you have to go where the fish are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're fishing and you're casting your net on the same spot and nothing comes back, you need to navigate to other places in the sea, right? And of course, you are after a certain kind of fish, so make sure you go where that kind of fish usually gets together, all right? So that's what Cristiane is saying. Your church has branches and it also has social networks. The people of the church are usually meeting together online, etc. So if you're talking about online dating, at least go online where the church people are and use the bridges, what we call bridges, that is friends. If you ask around, couples who have been married successfully, how they met each other, you will see that most people nowadays, still in the online era, have met through a common friend. All right, so invest in your friendship. Don't be embarrassed to ask for someone to introduce you, and do not be afraid to start a friendship. You don't have to start dating at the first moment, the first encounter. You can start a friendship, a contact, and then consider if you want to date that person. Okay? Well, students, that's all for today here for the Love School. We'll come back next week with more tips and teaching about how to love intelligently. All right? So follow us on Instagram, the Love School USA, for more updates on what we are up to. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Women these days don't understand what it is to be rare anymore.
You've got to stop and ask the question, what have I been doing wrong?
I was always searching for that Prince Charm, but I never found that person.
My way to get away from the problems is be quiet, run away, go somewhere, or just stay in my own corner.